Today we're going to take a flight up to some Hohokam ruins on top of a mountain peak that is off of Table Mesa Road, just north of Anthem, off of I-17, a couple miles east of the 17, and about a mile off the dirt road is this peak. And I did not know there would be ruins on top, but I thought I would take a drone flight up there to take a look, and to my surprise, somebody actually built some structures up there. There are several rooms of rock walls and rectangular formations, and also just walls along the edge, the eastern edge of the hilltop. It's pretty remarkable that some people could set up all these rocks and that they would have to bring food and water to the top of this mountain peak. The Hohokam settled this area between 300 and 1500 AD. The Hohokam is the term given to the civilization and the Hohokam language of Native American. It's like the third most popular indigenous language in Arizona, after Navajo and Apache. But no one knows for sure why they vanished from the area around 700 years ago, or 500 years ago, although it might have been due to drought conditions, but they were successful in Phoenix at constructing some large-scale irrigation projects, and some of the current canals that carry water to Phoenix follow the routes of the ancient canals dug out by the Hohokams many years ago. Scattered around the hills in this area, there's a lot of these ruins of the rock walls construction, and they're usually on hilltops that have a nice commanding view, but it would be a lot of work to get to hike up there. Of course, the drone flight makes it real easy to get a good view. And here I'm checking out the rock formation of the layers of stone. Most of these flat top peaks or some of them are volcanic plugs, and then other ones are just mesas that are left over from like the Mogollon Rim plateau, the American plate, where it has eroded around it. I think this one looks like a volcanic plug. I was kind of looking for a hiking trail up there, but I don't think there's any trail that's really steep. But it is possible to get up there. I don't believe there's a name for this hill, at least not that I could find. But it's pretty unmistakable if you drive the dirt road between I-17 and Seven Springs Campground and Cave Creek, which we did this afternoon after we stopped here. It was a bit farther than expected, about 24 miles of dirt road and 15 miles of windy paved road. At the other end, it was well after dark before we got to the end of the dirt road. Plus, we took a wrong turn for about 10 miles. So, quite a bit of jeep driving. Okay, now we're just going to fast forward it up to the nearest tall hilltop. Thought I'd check out the hill. The drone is limited to a maximum altitude of 1,480 feet above ground from the takeoff point, and I reached the maximum altitude. Also, at this point, the battery was about 50%, and I heard my drone camera started acting up, but the gimbal reset itself. Thought it was crashing, but it wasn't. A lot of swallows, giant cactuses. For some reason the drone stopped here when it was on its automatic return home flight. I had to put it in manual mode and coax it to get going again, but it made it back with 10% remaining. Just showing a couple of quick scenes on the drive before the sun went down. Pretty rugged terrain. There were several areas, if you're going to try to drive this road, it's in much worse condition than it was the last time I went down this a few years ago, because of recent washouts of the road where there's large boulders and areas, and the dirt road was completely gone. So you definitely needed four-wheel drive and a high clearance. Let's see. It was real pretty drive until it got dark and we couldn't see.
Kind of exercises your ribs.
Yeah. The fork is better?
Yeah, this part has a couple switchbacks, and now it goes back down to the creek. And then I remember, then the road was a lot smoother.
Yeah, here you gotta go back up the same way.
We have to go back. Okay, we can get out of here.
That's where we're heading. I've been on this road a couple times on my dirt bike. This was the first time to go all the way through in the Jeep.
We are going down there.
The road crossed this creek several times.
This looks like kind of bumpy.
And here's a couple of still shots. And we couldn't help but think back to the last time we were in the area with our dog Hannah. So I dedicate this film in memory of her. Maybe she's still out there.